Hello everybody, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to talk about the pattern in the Chi-Man house charts. Now, in the book that actually lists all of the house charts, Joey Yap doesn't explain how those charts, those 432 charts are found out of the over 1,000 charts available. But after the third time of looking at it, I actually finally see some real consistency and real patterns there that I can believe they're just not randomly chosen, because he doesn't even talk about this in his classes, how this is done. He just says, do it. Use my really expensive software and you'll be fine. Now, for each facing direction of, the 8 possible facing directions, there are 6 incoming chi subsector groups. And the incoming chi subsector is determined by the center of the main door for a house, and that's with the door in the closed position, so it's really the center of the door opening. And for an apartment, a flat, or a condo, the incoming chi sector is either the balcony door, and if it's a slider, it's the middle of the moving half. Or if you don't have a balcony, then it's the largest window in the family area. And that will determine where your chi is coming in. And that will determine which one of the 6 groups of chi subsector groups that you're in. So these are the different sectors, 1 through 6. And this is just basically starting in the north and moving up to the south in groups. I've already talked about this before. You'll see this in various places. Now, each one of these incoming chi groups for a so we have 9 different periods where we have the incoming chi group, and there'll be only one that will have a heaven and earth stem being identical in all palaces of that chart. And that's true for each one of the periods. And I think this will be a little clearer in a bit. Now, this is how Joey Yap will, if you use his free software, you could get this. Now, you don't know what time to pick because this is the hour charts, but this is how he arranges these things. And so when I say that the heaven and earth stems are identical, this is what I mean. These two are the same element, both the element and the yin or yang of it. So it's truly the same character. Now, all Chi-Man charts have an ID number, and this has long been standardized. I don't know how long, but it's been a long time. And for any given house or unit facing, there are 6 possible charts, and those 6 will depend on where your incoming chi is coming from. And when we look at the chart number, they're separated by 10. So the charts go from 1 to 100 or 1,080 charts, so it's somewhere in that range. Now, the order of the incoming chi groups is also consistent through all of the charts, of the house charts. So this is the order. If you're looking through time and you find a day where you actually have a chart, the first one that will come up will be the group 1. And so this is always the first one you'll see. And then it skips to group 3, and then to group 5, and then it goes to group 6, group 4, group 2. So it has this skipping kind of thing, and then it folds back on itself. And this is just the way it works for every single facing. This is consistent, so that's good. That's reassuring. And so, for example, and these are fake numbers. I just picked random numbers. So we don't care what this facing is, but it's a fixed facing and a fixed period. If the group 1 has a chart ID of 21, this one will be 31, this one will be 41, 51, 61, 71. So they are off by 10. So it is very, very, very consistent. So here's just another example. If you happen to have 94 as the one that is for the group 1, and this of course is a different period and a different facing direction, you have 94, 104, 114, 124, 134, 144. So the pattern always stays the same. The next thing I want you to do is just remember the low shoe chart. I think most people know this pretty well by now, but take a screenshot if you have to. So here is the key chart. This is where now everything finally made sense to me, although it looks pretty crazy when you just look at it. So this is the period 1 through 9. These are the incoming chi groups 1 through 6. So it's 1, 3, 5, 6, 4, 2. I've rearranged them to be in that regular order. Now, if we look at the numbers, and this will be clear in a little bit, but we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, 5 is in the center of the low shoe chart. So there is no real sector associated with that. That is, there's no data in the center of a Chiman chart. So both the 2, the 5, and the 8, they're all earth element numbers or stars. And for some reason, 5 always seems to go with a 2 and doesn't go with the 8. I don't know why. So 2 gets substituted for 5 because 5 doesn't have the same kind of information. And if we go down, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 9. If we start here, it's 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way, 9 to 1. It's very consistent in the numbering. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It just goes up by 1. So it's very consistent in this pattern. And you'll see why I have the directions listed in just a second. But I just want you to note all that. The other thing I want you to note is that diagonally, the west is just like that, the northeast, everything goes up just diagonally. So it's very consistent in that pattern too. And all this together makes it much more reassuring that it's not just darted and say, we'll just throw a dart and we'll use that one, which is what it felt like when I first looked at the charts. So let's go back to this one. There's the low shoe. And now what this means, this line, these two pieces of data, in period 1, I see the incoming chi group 1, the only chart that has the facing direction where the heaven and earth stems are identical is the north. So for incoming group number 3, it will be in the southwest. That'll be the only one that will have this identical heaven and earth stems. Now, this is the real kicker. Star 1 is associated with the north. That's where it is in the low shoe. And that's the one that has the heaven and earth stems identical. Southwest 2, 2 is in the southwest. This is the one that is matching for period 2. Only the southwest facing house will have the heaven and earth stems having identical. Period 3, only the east will, and there's the east. 4, that's southeast. 5 will be the same as 2 because it has to go somewhere. 6 is in the northwest. 7 is in the west. 8 is in the northeast. And 9 is in the south. And that is totally, completely consistent. Wherever this is, it's the number it all is right with the low shoe. I mean, this is obviously where it comes from. And it's a special chart. It's the only one of the 6 charts that will have a heaven and earth stems being identical. And once I saw all this, I said, okay, now this is a way to fix it. And it's based on the Lo Shu, and it all starts actually with just this one thing right here, this one column, and then you just go up one, and and now it makes perfect sense that this is actually how it's done. I wish he had said something about this, even if it was only in the class, but he didn't. But I'm quite sure this is how these charts are chosen. So this really does assure me that there is something real going on here, and it makes sense. I mean, finally I see the pattern. Now again, the pattern is consistent and regular. Now, why each chart is exactly 10 chart ID numbers away, that's still a bit of a mystery. But it works. Or I guess it's just to keep it kind of all within one day, I don't know, or within 2 days. That would cover all of the house charts for a given period and a given facing direction. Now, it is interesting to note that all these Qi charts are associated with the hour charts that are between the winter solstice and the summer solstice. So that means the tiger and the tortoise never appear, which is okay, but in some ways it really doesn't matter because you still have the hook and the phoenix to replace these two. So all 4 of those are the more negative type. But in a house, it's not so much necessarily negative unless you have negative stars. It's more you have certain skills you can tap into in those places. So I hope this was understandable. You may have to listen to it a couple times if you really want to understand. You don't have to. I just wanted to be reassured myself that there was some real pattern here, and it just wasn't some randomly chosen thing, which is what it looks like when you first look at it. You know, it's very confusing. But now it makes a lot of sense. Thanks again for watching.